Hey folks, thanks for taking the time to look again. I really appreciate it as always. Another wonderful day of drawing. I did a little walk down to the mall today and did some drawing, had a good time. And I just wanted to mention something to some of you about line discipline. A lot of you have trouble, I know, getting your lines to go where you want when you're drawing. And one of the things that I wanted to mention is that when I teach a class on drawing, I talk a bit about drawing, the difference between drawing like you're writing and drawing with your whole arm. One of the big discoveries I made as an artist was drawing with my whole arm and swinging my arm around. I found that it gave me more mobility in the drawing, and it gave me more line discipline. I had a tendency of having a much more control over the line so that I can make a more broad, more graceful line at one stroke, as opposed to just using your wrist. When you use your wrist, you have a certain amount of strokes for like fine detail, but you're limited if you're trying to make a grand gesture. There's a lot of folks out there teaching about art. There's one particular fellow I saw online, Proco. Proco is his site, proco.com. I think I'm saying that right. Steve Proco, Procopinko. Hope I'm saying your name right, Steve. I don't know him, but he has some very good tips on drawing, and I would recommend you see his videos. But he talks about that, and I talk about it too, so I just wanted to sort of reinforce that. So hey, drawing time, folks. Here we go.
Say that it's alright, it's alright, it's alright. Out in space, there's a feeling that runs through your veins, one that has no time, no space, taking you high so that you can't deny it. That's when you're in love. Taking you high so that you can't deny it. That's when you're in love.
When I start a book, I usually date it in the beginning. I put a date on it as to when I've started the book. And I used to have all sorts of clever ways of dating the book. I used to do like a star date, and I don't do that anymore. But you know, just so that I can remember when I start the book and when I finish it. I do about 2 or 3 books a month, which is the reason why I have so many of these. And it's, once again, it's not a race to do 2 or 3 books a month. It just seems to come out that way. I know a lot of you folks probably think that when I said that I had 4,000 sketchbooks, you probably thought I was just kidding. And I realize that it's quite possible that, yeah, you probably don't believe me. And, you know, and I realize it could sound a little far-fetched, but it is true. I mean, actually, I have more. I think I have a lot more than 4,000 sketchbooks at this point in the juncture. I was just saying that in the 80s, in my last video, I mentioned that I have, that in the 80s, I figured, the last that I counted, I was in the 4,000 range, and I know that sounds crazy. I know it does. But I mean, I don't think you really necessarily, I never really thought in terms of just counting my sketchbooks, like let's just see how many sketchbooks I can make. That really wasn't the point. The point is that I like to draw a lot, and so I would just draw. I had a teacher, I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, and one of the teachers that I grew up around was a professor that I knew named Mr. Sitton. And he had a thing about doing a lot of sketchbooks, and I never took his class. It's probably maybe the one great regret that I have as an artist is that this guy was an excellent artist, a very prolific designer and artist, and he wanted me to take his class. And he was actually the one, I won't say he was the one that started me into getting the hardbound sketchbooks, but I definitely, I was very influenced by the people in his class who carried around these really nice hardbound sketchbooks that the school made. They actually printed their own books and everything, so it was really cool. But I never got to take the guy's class. Sadly, he passed away before I had a chance to, but he was a very, very good professor. I sat in on a lot of his life drawing classes, and he was just one of those guys. He was just really, really good, and he was very inspiring to me. And I regret not getting a chance to take his class, but it was a discipline, and I think it was that discipline that that he impressed me with that made me want to draw so much. And he wasn't the only one that did that for me, but he definitely was one of those guys that had a really profound effect on me as an artist. I just wanted you to see some of my other sketchbooks, which is why I'm kind of going through these. I wanted you to also see how somehow my sketchbooks differ. Probably one of the things that you noticed when you looked at this book was that I have some photographs that I've stuck in the book. And, you know, I just wanted to, or storyboards like these. And the thing is that a sketchbook, as you know, of course, is a journal, and it's just a way of you recording, you know, everything that you do. So it really doesn't matter what you put in the sketchbook. You can put as much stuff in there as you want. You can be influenced, you know, by whatever your favorite artist. Like, for instance, this particular picture here, I was influenced by Gil Elvgren, who I think was one of the great artists of his day. He was a prolific illustrator back in the 50s and was well known for doing the glamour pinup artwork, very similar to Alberto Vargas and George Petty and some of the great pinup artists of his day. And but I loved his work, and I love his work because he did sexy girls, but he did them. There was a story to his pictures, and this particular drawing is one of my own girl drawings, patterned after a drawing that Mr. Elving did. And this is a very good example of what I mean by being influenced by an artist and putting your own take on it. This is another sketch that I did from one of Elvgren's drawings, or paintings rather, but I put my own flair on it. I have a desire to actually do some calendars, and I want to get some models that I can use to sort of carry on with the spirit of what Mr. Elgren did. But once again, I want to do it my own way. I'm not interested in just literally mimicking anybody. I like doing my own stuff, and I like doing it in my own style. And you should too.